My ex-husband complained that he only had enough money for food and gas, and then he bought himself a new house. My husband and I separated when I was 42. Our son had just started first grade. I think that our relationship deteriorated because my husband imagined himself to be a super cool businessman. In fact, his business suddenly took off. There was more money in the family, but the scandals also increased many times over. Well, and then, as usual, it turned out that he was sleeping with his secretary. Although he shouted at me during the divorce that she was not a secretary but a personal assistant. But what does that change? My faithful husband left us nothing but a car. We returned to live with my mother. We agreed that I would not file for alimony. It was in lieu of these payments that my ex left me the car. My ex-husband periodically transferred money to my son's card, but these transfers were not regular. As soon as I hinted that it would be nice if these were small amounts but monthly, I was bombarded with lamentations about the financial collapse of the business. Do you think this money falls from the sky? My ex-husband would immediately go on the attack. Everything I earn, I put into circulation. I literally save it for food and gas. And I believed and did not complain. Our hero lover was also in no hurry to communicate with our son. Sometimes he would take him for a walk in the park or take him to some cheap cafe. But I listened to the stories of my divorced friends and thought that things weren't so bad for me. Someone told me that ex-husbands quit and deliberately went to work with a lower salary just so that the alimony would be a pittance. Someone worked illegally. And Rachel's ex gave the boy only one chocolate egg for his 14th birthday. And that's it. I listened to another story and silently repeated to myself that things weren't so bad for me. Every now and then, a good present would be given to the child. Everything would have gone on like this if the ex hadn't dragged our son to his home for the first time in so many years. Now our son is already 13 years old. I knew that my ex-husband had moved to a private house some time ago. He himself had mentioned it in a conversation, but I didn't know the address or any other details. And then it turns out that this isn't just a private house, but a huge country cottage with 2 floors, and this isn't some kind of unfinished building with frozen bare walls. The child, in his simplicity, took pictures of everything in his father's house that seemed interesting to him. And the father even boasted that he had recently finished the renovation. Judging by the photos, the renovation alone is more expensive than the entire apartment we live in now. And the interiors? The furniture costs hundreds of thousands. The kitchen just looks like it's worth $500,000, no less. I immediately felt cheated. Not even that. I'm just a naive fool. He does expensive renovations there, buys furniture, and I got a second job remotely to somehow make ends meet. I didn't think long, and a week later I was sitting with a lawyer and filing for alimony. As soon as my faithful received the notification, literally the next day his mother came galloping to us. By the way, in all these years, the ex-mother-in-law has never visited her grandson. Not even on his birthday. "But you had an agreement," the furious woman screamed. "You promised that you wouldn't file for alimony, liar." "Well, your son promised to help the child," I retorted. Then some woman called me. It turned out that she was the ex's new passion. She accused me of fleecing them. That's so petty. It was strange to listen to moralizing from yet another mistress of the ex. It's your child, so support him yourself and don't twist your ex's arm. It's a good thing the lawyer told me that I can collect alimony from my ex for the last 3 years. I'll make that bastard pay in full.